Welcome to Trident Communications. We present to you live the famous success stories of our guests.
That you started your career in theater. So what got you into acting the first time that you realized that you could actually get into it?
See, I went to a school which was, really very, encouraging and educating regarding all crafts and arts. Okay. Uh, Whether it is elocution, jams, quizzes, mono acting, speech, drama, understanding of music, understanding of the arts. Uh, so Jamnabai Nursery School, which I belong to, has produced a lot of people from cinema. Okay. Uh, but my inclination at that time was never so much towards cinema because I was an outsider. I didn't belong to a film family. B, my mother was the head of the Department of Hindi in Bombay University, and so the kind of people who used to come to my house were great eminent writers and literature people from theatre. Professor Vasant Dev and Vijay Tendulkar and Harivansh Rai Bachchan and Harindranath Chattopadhyay, Pandit Narendra Sharma, Dr. Rahim Masoom Raza, Amritlal Nagar. So these are the people. So got a lot interested in literature, in theatre, and we had a very strong theatre group. Prithvi Theatre had just, really started. So I, became part of the Little Prithvi Players. Did all the annual day plays in Hindi and English, got encouraged, and then unfortunately or fortunately I had great marks. And during the time when, of course, now your generation and people, you all have so many opportunities, but at that time, either if you're in the art stream, then people would say that either you're not academically sound or you have nothing else to do, that's why you take arts. And people would take science because there was either the choice of becoming an engineer or a doctor. And people would take commerce. At the end of the day, they would say, okay, I'd like to become a chartered accountant or a company secretary. And after that, of course, the only other option that people had was, doing an MBA or a master's in management studies. So theater was a passion. And how I got into theater is when I started seeing a lot of professional performances, watching people like Raghuveer Yadav and Pankaj Kapoor and Nasiruddin Shah and Om Puri and Surekha Sikri and Neena Gupta and Rajendra Gupta, watching the great Alec Padamsee on stage and Kabir Bedi and Tom Alter. So these are the people, and also a lot of being in Mumbai, you get exposed to a lot of other languages also. So a lot of Marathi theatre I saw, a lot of Gujarati theatre I saw, and so that magic of being on theater, on stage, is something that really was it was mesmerizing. The entire process of being somebody else, preparing for a role, getting instant accolades. Okay, so this was something, and I continued doing that on a semi-professional level in the 11th and 12th also. And again, unfortunately, I got damn good marks. I was a merit list holder in HSC. That time we had PCB and PCM, so I had a 90 percentile both in physics, chemistry, maths, and also in physics, chemistry, biology. And but then I went to an engineering college, the DY Patil. It's very famous now for the DY Patil Stadium. So the Ramrao Adik Institute of Technology was the premier engineering institute, but it was so out of Bombay that getting to, because some people are very lucky. Some people are lucky for the simple reason that their colleges are in Mumbai, proper Mumbai. Like people who are in Delhi or in Delhi University, North Campus or South Campus, close to NSD, so they have an access to watching plays in Mandi House and stuff. So, but it was crazy because my heart was not in my engineering. Even when I was in college, I was the general secretary of the college. I was the cultural secretary also. I organized New Bombay's first intercollegiate festival, Horizon, which is really huge. Traveled all over the country, and we were a 2-member contingent at that time. The famous, legendary Shankar Mahadevan and myself. To me, Shankar was my senior, so he would win all the singing and the music events, and I would win all the mono acting and the elocution and the theatre events and the creative writing events. That continued, and And the love for theatre grew. I started doing professional theatre with Firoz Abbas Khan, who's directed Gandhi, my father, who had also directed me in school. I started working with Om Katare. I started working with Iqbal Khwaja's group over here. Did a lot of stuff with Pandit Satyadev Dubey. And then, of course, my parents were very anti it. They said that, this is a great hobby and you're an engineer, so you shouldn't be doing all this. So I left for Delhi to give up acting. But unfortunately in Delhi, because Delhi, Mandi House, it's a great center for learning and for exposure to theatre. Some people who had seen my work in Mumbai as an actor, when I'd done plays with Firoz and with Iqbal Khwaja and, with Om Katare, with Little Prithvi players, they traced me. That's the time they didn't have mobile. So they traced my landline and I did my first play in Delhi with Amir Raza Hussain. And of course, the bug again hit me. I was working in Delhi in a multinational, worked with Jan Natam Manch, worked with Yatrik, and my life changed when I joined Mr. Ibrahim Alkazi's Living Theatre of Drama. And Mr. Alkazi is the founder director of the National School of Drama, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. He's the person who has trained people like Sai Paranjpe and Om Puri and Pankaj Kapoor and Nasiruddin Shah and Surekha Sikri. And Ranjit Kapoor, and I mean, you name the great actors that we have in this country, directors like Sai Paranjpe, worked with Vidya Mehta. So working with Mr. Alkazi for 2.5 years really honed my skills. And that's the time when I decided, now I can't, But theatre is something that really doesn't pay you in this country. It can't be taken as a profession, especially when you're doing Hindi or English theatre. In Maharashtra and Gujarat, Marathi and Gujarati has a very strong commercial theatre base because they have a big tradition. But for actors who work in English and Hindi primarily, theatre can't give them money unless you're part of the NSD repertory, which gives you a certain stipend or a certain money. We have repertory companies over here, but we don't have the kind of repertory companies that people. So that's why television became an option, and I was lucky to, to audition for India's first daily soap, Shanti. And the character became popular. The show became popular. I was lucky that I won all the awards in the first 2 years. Best debut, best supporting actor, then best actor. And then, of course, the journey started, and I kept my theatre roots alive, and I still do a lot of theatre because the magic of theatre is something that attracts me even now. And of course, television led to films, then, voiceovers and ads, and now web series. And so I've just been at it for the last 25, 26 years, active on Touchwood on all forums. I am now recording for Audible. I'm also recording for Spotify, these podcasts and these audio casts. And I'm working on the web. I'm working on films. I'm working in television. I'm working in theatre. And my connection with theatre is the one that has kept me alive as an actor, because मेरे machine को अभी तक जंग नहीं लगी because of my connection with theatre. So that is what my journey is. And so since March 95, I became a full-time actor. उससे पहले job भी करता था, शांति भी करता था, theatre भी करता था. But if you sail in 2 boats, you'll never be able to swim. And this is what Mr. Alkazi, my guru, told me. So finally, I dumped everything. I started Shanti in 1994. Some other shows had also started in early 95, but March 95 is when I actually quit my job and took the big plunge into this insecure but wonderful profession. And here I am talking to you.